So Biden is facing increased pressure to use his authority to either support legislation or unilaterally enact proposals that would advance efforts to give reparations to Black Americans as a way to make amends for slavery and racism. They say the campaign for cities and states to pay reparations at a more local level is gaining major momentum as a growing number of communities across the country weigh payment proposals. And meanwhile, lawmakers at the federal level have introduced their own measures. They most recently, Representative Cori Bush introduced a proposal in May to pay $14 trillion. It said to compensate for what she believes are racist government policies that created a wealth gap between white and Black people. Less ambitiously, several Democrats in Congress have backed the bill establishing a commission to study and develop reparations proposals for lawmakers to consider implementing. However, Biden has always been silent about such initiatives, leading to frustration among pro-reparation activists and some Democrats in Congress, especially amid a great energy at the state and local levels to advance such measures. Now, racial justice groups and some Democrats have been pushing Biden for years to establish a National Reparations Commission by executive order, which he can. I said that a long time ago. I said if they don't approve H.R. 40, Biden can literally create a commission himself. He do not need Congress to create a commission. Now, I say we asked with no apologies for an executive order to be in place, according to what Sheila Jackson Lee is saying. It said I want once and for all, an acceptance of the history, and of the journey that African Americans have taken, to be an accepted reality in America. And months later, the National Council of Churches USA, Faith for Black Lives, and more than 200 faith leaders from across the country issued a letter to Biden. Called on him to establish a reparations commission by executive order on or before the June 19th holiday on next year. And just days after the letter, civil rights leaders gathered outside a historic church in Selma, Alabama, to encourage Biden to sign executive orders to study reparations for Black Americans. The descendants of slaves have also slammed Biden for not acting on reparations. The White House didn't respond to a request for comment to the story. It said Biden's position on reparations. However, the White House has previously indicated Biden, who's largely been quiet about the issue, supports studying a potential reparations for Black Americans, but has stopped short of saying that he'll back a bill introduced in Congress that would create a commission. Last month, White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre repeatedly dodged a question concerning whether Biden would support financial reparations being paid to the descendants of Black slaves in the U.S. In March, Jean-Pierre similarly failed to answer a question about whether Biden supports slavery reparations at a national level. Pressure on Biden and the White House to act will likely mount as a growing number of localities add their names to the list of those actively pursuing reparations. It said that the latest example is Ann Arbor, home of the sprawling University of Michigan's local outlet mlive.com, obtained emails from city council members revealing that they had been considering reparations for several months. As previously shared, with you, one of my main priorities on the council, has been to start a task force to help the city identify how we can pay reparations to our Black community. One council member wrote January 23rd. Email at the University of Michigan social work professor. Now, of course, we know in Georgia, we reported on that they're starting a reparations commission there. They're spending $210,000 on there. So when I said in the podcast, we're going to get our reparations. It's coming. It's coming. And the reparations conversation, we got to continue to beat that drum. We got to be loud about reparations. Say, hey, no, you pay what you owe. This is not a gift or nothing. This is what you owe. So you definitely need to be paying attention to these reparations conversations. They can do it on a local level, that's fine, no problem. But we still need it on a national level too. We need to get all our reparations because all these other people benefited.